Hello again. Well, it's Happy Tuesday. Now, if I'd have made a video yesterday, I would definitely not have said Happy Monday. It was blowing a gale. Next door's dustbin finished up the garden. And the garden chair, our garden chair, did a somersault. We had sea foam blowing against the windows and it was howling a gale. And then I get a message from my son in Spain saying, "Oh, it's so hot over here. We're sheltering from the sun. It's 30 degrees. And I'm like, yeah. Well, I do have something to show you today for a change, instead of me wittering on about nothing. Yeah, I have been searching online. I'm trying to find any news about my cousin. I lost touch with my cousin ages ago. She was once married to Jimmy Nichol, who stood in for Ringo Starr a long time ago as a drummer with the Beatles. Yeah. It ruined him, basically. It just went to his head and then it just went all downhill after that. And a guy wrote a book about him, you know, the Beatle who vanished, because he just vanished. I mean, him and my cousin divorced, so I didn't expect to hear any more from Jimmy at all. But they did have a son called Howie. I have been trying desperately to contact Howie. I mean, I know he's been mithered by press and everything, wanting to know what happened to his dad, yeah. I don't want to know what happened to his dad. He's got nothing to do with me. I just want to know if my cousin's still on this earth or not, because she will be in her 80s if she is. But he doesn't answer me. Very frustrating. I realise he perhaps doesn't want anything to do with the Buckley clan, but we would like to know, just for posterity, whether or not my cousin's still alive or not. Very frustrating. Somebody suggested I contacted like the deaths and that, but I don't know whether she remarried, whether she changed her name, or where she was living, so it's so hard, isn't it, to find all this info out. Anyway, enough of the drabness. I am actually wearing a red dress today, but you can't really see it. Woo! It's a red dress. It's a nice one. It's a long one. I don't propose to stand up because it's blooming cold, and I've got a dog next to me sleeping. She's sitting there. Rosie, by the way. I haven't been able to sit on my recliner since the family left for Spain, because somebody who was 2 yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? Anyway, Miss Trixie commandeered my recliner, which is not helping my back any at all. She is only small, but she sleeps with me on the bed, because that's what her habit is, to sleep on the bed with them. And she might be small, but my goodness me, does she take up a lot of room on that bed. And she snores, you know. Well, I'm actually doing some knitting. I think I showed you the pattern before. I'm doing that one. Not in those bright colours. Because the child I'm knitting for apparently likes pale shades, so it's got greyish blue at the bottom. It's called duck egg, actually. Then it's got pale blue. The back is all one colour. And then the front will be pink and lilac and I think a bit of this blue. Anyway, I've just answered the door to the postman. He has brought me a package from Wool Warehouse. Big package from Wool Warehouse. So I'm going to open it. It's mostly not for me. It is for a Christmas present. So I am hoping that my daughter-in-law does not watch my videos, because then it will spoil the surprise. I don't think she does, so we'll see. I'm cutting open the bag with my snippers. What I do like about Wool Warehouse is they send everything out. Oh. They send everything out in a big organza bag. And my ribbon and my buttons have just dropped on the floor. Yeah, Wool Warehouse. So I have ordered Stylecraft Special Double Knitting, and it doesn't tell me how much a ball it is. Well, the 100-gram balls, and 6 of them, has cost me $11.25, and oh wait a minute, I could tell with that. 10 of them have cost me £22.50. So it must be £2.25, mustn't it, a ball? Anyway, I shall show you what I am doing. I can't get in the bag. The bag's got stuck up. This is the accessories bag. In other words, buttons. In other words, buttons. Oh, my goodness me. I think I need an extra litre bits tomorrow morning to get into that package. Right. A package within a package. Another little package within the package. Which has got buttons in. Oh yeah. Purple buttons. That might give you a clue as to what colour I've actually bought for my daughter-in-law. Oh dear. Put them there before I lose them, or before Trixie knocks them down. Anyway, and some ribbon. It looks blue, but it's actually purple. Right, what am I making? Well, remember me saying that some patterns on Etsy cost a fortune? And I knew I'd bought this pattern before, could not find it. I managed to find it, so I didn't have to buy it again, because it was £11 to buy the pattern alone. I mean, it's a lovely pattern. It's by Earth Tricks. It's called the Fairy Queen Coat. So I am hoping that my daughter-in-law will like it. She likes things a bit gothy, so I'm hoping that she does. Anyway, let me open my organza bag. Well, this isn't purple, as you can see. But I think I mentioned before that Wool Warehouse do an offer. If you spend more than £30, you get free postage. And I need a new black cardigan, because one of my black cardigans is gone so fluffy. It's not redeemable. Yeah, I don't know what happened to it, but it's not redeemable. So I've got 5 of those black ones, and they're for me. For moi. And inside here, it's called Emperor. Emperor. I can't find my way in the bag. Oh, I do like these organza bags. They're so handy for keeping everything in, aren't they? The buttons are a bit light actually for the colour of this wool, but I'm sure that they will manage. Yeah, Style Craft Special. It's called Emperor. She likes red actually, but I thought that a big coat like that might be a bit much, you know, in all red. Maybe not. I can always make her one in red. But I decided, my son said a second favourite colour is purple. So, there we are. Purple. So if I get a chance, I'll have to be crocheting it when she's not around, which is, you know, quite often because she's upstairs most of the time. Oh, sorry about the top of my head. Just trying to put the ball of wool back in the bag. Yeah. So I can do it on the quiet, you know. But probably not this week with the dogs. I just had to persuade them to go outside for a wee because, oh, it's not very nice out there. I had to go and rescue the garden chair that was in the middle of the lawn. But apart from that, I really haven't been out. I was going to go to the shed, you know, to take some things back over to the shed that were from, you know, the craft fair, where I didn't sell hardly anything. I was going to take everything back into the shed, but the grass is about so long, and it's been wet, it's been raining, I just didn't fancy trudging my way across, as I don't possess a pair of Wellingtons, yeah. Wellington boots. I don't know whether you call them Wellington boots in America, but you know, the big rubber boots that you put on when it's raining, yeah. I don't know whether you call them that. I don't know. Anyway, Rosie's asleep, which is a change because she's getting very stir crazy. Sadly, we couldn't arrange a dog walker for her, and she just will not go with anybody. I dare say I could have got somebody to offer to take her, but she just is a funniosity and she won't go with just anybody. But she got to know the dog walker we had last time. But with my son having this last minute holiday, it was too late notice to book the dog walker. She couldn't do it. So sadly, poor Rosie's going stir crazy here. She keeps throwing me her little toys around. Trixie couldn't care less because she's a bit of a lazy so-and-so. Oh, her ears flicked when I said her name then, yeah. Oh, she opened an eye. Just shows she is listening at times, although when I say come on wee wee, she throws a deaf one. Yeah. Anyway, I am cold, I am fed up, I am miserable. My son has told me to get a passport because they have got the use of an apartment in Spain somewhere in the new year. So they can go, and they just said I can go with them. So, but I need to get a passport, obviously. So I need to organise that, which will be more expense, no doubt. I don't know how much a passport costs these days. But I'll have to start doing it soon because it takes forever. Man, it's not. I suppose it is holiday season because loads of people go away, don't they, for the winter, yeah. So I suppose it is holiday season. I mean, I know it's a bit hard to get a passport when it's really high holiday season, like the summer. But I'll have to I don't even know where my old passport is, because you're supposed to send the old one back when you're looking for a new one, aren't you? I have got it here, you know, when we moved. It is here somewhere. Maybe I will find it when I start moving my things into my bedroom annex, yeah. All that's stopped, you know, because my son's away. He's got to put the bottom, you know, the baseboard, skirting board, whatever you call it. He's got to put the baseboard on it. And then he's got to help me move some of the Kallax units. If you're a fan of IKEA, you know what a Kallax unit is, the square little boxes that pile on top of each other, yeah. So I've got them in my bedroom as I'm sleeping in at the moment, so I want them to go into the annex bit, and then I'll have more room to actually walk round my bed without tripping over. I will show you pictures when it's all finished, but there's no point at the moment because it's just an empty room. Yeah, so I've got to get a rug. And I'm getting a chest of drawers from a friend of mine, and I want to get a desk so I can put my sewing machine in there. And the doll's house might actually get painted. You might actually see it in its purple state instead of its pink. Oh, excuse me. Instead of its pink state. Yeah. So I've got another 10 rows to knit on the back. Oh, I'm knitting so slow with this. Knitting so slowly. It's actually coming out big. Well, I think it's big for her because she's 3.5, but better too big, aren't they, than too small, because then you can grow into them. Yeah, don't know the child, never met her. It's my friend's granddaughter. She lives in London, so I've never had the pleasure of seeing her. But my friend is giving me a chest of drawers that is brand new in the box. That is still in her garage from when she moved up here, and she's never used them. So obviously she won't accept any money from me, and I know she won't, so I thought, right, I'll knit her granddaughter a cardigan, you know, in lieu of payment kind of thing. Yeah. So what else am I doing today? Well, I've lit my fire because it's blooming cold, yeah. At least the wind's died down. It was awful. I think I mentioned before, didn't it? It was awful yesterday. I mean, we have sea foam. It's like, it looks like washing up liquid gone frothy. We have sea foam on the seafront usually, but it doesn't usually start blowing down the street, which it was. It was blowing down the street and slapping against the windows, and I'm like, what on earth? And the windows are so grotty now I can hardly see out of them. My son's going to have to clean them when he comes back because it's brought the wind and the rain and everything's brought the sand with it. So, you know, it's a wonder the windows aren't sandblasted, you know. Oh dear, it's a wonder you don't get frosted glass with all the, you know, the sand hitting the windows. Yeah. So, that's all I've been doing really, yeah. Feeling a bit sorry for myself because I'm moving back sore today and my knees are sore. I told you before I've got weather bones. They do not like cold weather. And having my son saying, oh, why don't we move to Spain? It's 28 degrees here, it's 30 degrees here. But much as I would like the idea of a holiday home, somewhere warm, I don't really think I would ever want to emigrate. I'm a bit dubious, you know, like I've got so many health issues for a start, and I have so many tablets that I might have to buy while I was over there, you know. And would I still get my disability living allowance for a scooter while I was over there? All these things I do not know. And if that was the truth, I wouldn't be able to manage off of my pension, you know. Especially if I had to buy my medication. That would be... oh, I would be broke before I started, wouldn't I? So it's a nice thought to go and live somewhere warm, but it's not very practical. Not on my time of life, it's not, anyway. Yes. All the fire's roaring away there. I wish it was throwing out some heat. Some days, you know, I can watch it and it's lovely to watch flames. I don't know whether you're the same, watching flames flickering. It reminds me so much of my childhood when we used to have a coal fire. Oh, great big wagon going by. It's unusual because we're in a very quiet street. When I used to sit and watch the coal fire, and it used to tell me stories. I don't know whether you've ever done that. I used to make up stories when I was a little girl, looking at the flames in the fire. Yeah. Very mesmerising, aren't they, watching flames, yeah. It's flaming at the moment, that's why I'm being distracted. It's actually suddenly took off. It's been just kind of glowing for a little bit and not throwing out much heat. But now it's actually roaring, so I might start to feel a bit warmer. I was watching one of the memories on Facebook and there were pictures of windows. You know when houses used to be single glazed, not double glazed, and we never had central heating, obviously. I don't think it was around back then, although it may be, because I mean the Romans invented heating, didn't they? But we didn't have it anyway, we only had a coal fire and that was it, yeah. And the windows used to freeze up and they used to make beautiful patterns. They used to look like ferns. I don't know whether you've ever, obviously if you've lived anywhere cold, you know what I'm talking about. And there used to be ferns going up the windows, pretty ferns. But of course you couldn't see out the window. And I think I've told you before that one of my childhood things was I used to watch the people going to work at the cotton mill, directly opposite where we lived. And I used to watch them running up the street. So my dad used to get pennies in his hands and warm them up in his hands and put them on the window to make two little eye holes so that I could sit and look out. It's amazing the things you remember about your parents from when you were tiny, about my dad doing things like that. We did have a fireplace upstairs in the bedroom. I shared the bedroom with my mum and dad because we only had 2 bedrooms upstairs and 2 rooms downstairs. And my brother's bedroom at the back, half of it went to make a bathroom eventually when I was about 10, I think. Before that we didn't have a bathroom. So there was actually no room for me to have a bedroom of my own, so I had to, you know, sleep. I mean, there was talk about putting a curtain across at one stage, but it never happened. We just moved eventually. So, you know, you're thinking about things like that, aren't you? You know, about people these days think they're hard done by. You know, they don't have a room each, they don't have this and that and the other. And it was quite normal. When I think back, my grandma lived a few houses up the street. And had the same size house as we did, yeah. 2 bedrooms up, 2 rooms downstairs, kitchen and a living room downstairs. No bathroom, no inside toilet, nothing. And my dad was one of 9. So, I mean, 2 did pass away in childhood, so but there was still 9 people in that house. And you're thinking, how on earth did they fit? Sorry about that. Rosie! I do apologise for this awful noise. This is what I have to put up with. Rosie! Down. Honestly, you're blotting your copybook. Everybody on here is listening to you barking like that and saying what a naughty girl she is. She's looking at me very nonplussed. I don't know whether you can see her or not. Whoops, can you see her? Oh, I don't think you can. I don't think you can see her. There she is. She's looking very sheepish now because she's been shouted at by Grandma. And Grandma does not normally shout at her. Yeah, I don't think you want me buttons and me organza. She's got a head on me organza bag now, but I'm going to leave her to it. I'm sorry if I shouted at you, sweetie, but you were being a bit naughty. She's got her head down now, like she knows she's done something. Well, she doesn't know she's done something naughty because it's in a dog's nature to bark when something happens. And if you want to know what she was barking at, it was next door, driving her car out of her own driveway. Which apparently, according to Rosie, she's not supposed to do that, you know. It's a bit too near our driveway, you know. Never mind. And the little one took no notice whatsoever, except she opened one eye. So I've got nothing else really to tell you, except I'm cold. I'll be glad when they come back, so I can get some knitting done. I'm hoping and praying there's something nice on the TV. I did order a Fire Stick, but when it came it was faulty and it had to go back to Amazon. And then I ordered new controls for my other recliner chair in my annex bedroom, because my son unfortunately broke the control thing that makes the seats go up and down. So we sent for a new one, and unfortunately it didn't fit, so I had to send that back as well. So I'm just stuck with normal telly, Freeview. Oh, I'm just such a cheapskate. I will not pay for Sky, and I won't pay for all these Netflixes and stuff like that, because I don't watch films. So as far as I can see on Netflix, it's just films and more films and stuff like that, so I don't want that. So, oh, poor Rosie, she knows she's been shouted at now. I feel bad when I shout at her, I really do. Yeah, because she's such a sweetheart, she really is, yeah. So I'm going to try and get some knitting done. Try to finish the back. I've got 10 more rows to do on this back. But I'm knitting so slowly these days. At one time I would have had this done in no time at all, considering I started it on Saturday. But I'm getting very little time for my knitting, because as soon as I sit down on here and start knitting, somebody comes off the recliner and wants to sit next to me. So I then would get up off the sofa and I would go and sit on the recliner because she'd vacated it. But no, she wants to sit with me on the recliner. And if you've ever tried knitting with a French bulldog sitting at the side of you, you can't do it, you know. So there's been very little knitting done, and there's been no crochet done. And I don't even think I'm even going to attempt to start the fairy jacket. Wow. Oh. Yeah, the Fairy Queen coat designed by Earth Tricks. It is pretty, isn't it? I love anything like that myself, to be quite honest. And I did buy the pattern to use for myself. I suppose it is worth the £11 because there's like 27 pages of it. But some of it is just got one picture on a page, you know, like that, which she didn't need to do. You know, she's given a little bit too much information really as far as printing out is concerned, yeah. And I like to print out. I know that I can, but I'm not always sitting at the computer to read it. My pattern's stored on the computer, yeah. I'm not always sat there to read it, am I? So I prefer to have a paper copy. Can I just have my bag, please, Rosie? She says, no, I'm sitting on it. Thank you. I'll just put the black back in here before it gets covered in Trixie hair. Because Trixie being a golden colour, you know, she sort of sheds all over black and makes a sort of a piggy's ear of everything. She hasn't been near me. It's a cardigan I made years ago. I used a basic pattern and it's called the leaf hopper stitch, out of one of those, you know, those marvellous compendiums where they, you know, show you 200 different stitches. It's called the leaf hopper stitch. So the pattern isn't a pattern, although I did use a basic pattern, so any basic pattern will do. And you just put the leaf hopper stitch to it, yeah. And as for the beads I'm wearing, they're quite big chunky, they're all separate rings. Big chunky things they are. But they matched my dress, yeah. My dress has got, ooh, I think I showed you before. It's got buttons all the way down. It's quite a pretty dress. I'm not going to show you the whole length of it because in actual fact it needs ironing. I have bought a steamer, but I'm waiting until I move into my annex to, you know, be able to use the said steamer. I did have a big one before I moved here, but it was such a clunking thing that I gave it away. I had to use it in the garage because it was so big. It was like a big coat hanger on a stand, you know. It was much too big. This one I've got is just a little tiny handheld one. It's probably not going to be a whole lot of use if we're going to be honest about it, but it's better than every time I have a wrinkle in a dress. I don't want to have to go searching for the ironing board and searching for the iron. Because before, when I lived by myself, I used to leave the ironing board up and the iron in the bit of the kitchen that was the utility room. My kitchen was divided in two halves. I had my washing machine and my dryer, and I had my fridge freezer, and I used to leave the ironing board up, so it was always there, yeah. But of course, here I can't do these sort of things, can I? So that's why I bought a little handheld steamer. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye to you. You may see me again this week if I manage to get any more knitting done. And I am still expecting a magazine. I know that they're around because Tracy Crochet Rocks has got hers already. So I was hoping mine would arrive today, but it hasn't so far. And the post lady has been. So maybe tomorrow, maybe I'll be back to show you a magazine. You never know your luck. Bye for now.